Hey everyone, so I am going to do my review on the Maybelline Dream Wonder foundation. This has SPF 20 and it is 20 mils or 0.67 fluid ounces. I bought mine in CVS and Ulta because I have two different shades. I think it was $9.99, but I had 20% off in both places. So the original color I had bought was Creamy Natural, which is number 50, and Classic Ivory is what I purchased at Ulta. This is number 20. So before I begin, as you can see, purple shadow. I am using the Milani shadow in Bella Violet, which is the shimmer. I have that on my lid. And then in my crease, we went all over the place today. I am using the Naturally Pretty palette, and I have violet in the crease. And then I took my Wet n Wild matte, I Love Matte, and I have this in the outer corner. And then as a liner, I have Ransom by Urban Decay, and I have a very little bit amount underneath my eye. I wore it on Thursday to my friend's house, and she loved it. She's like, oh my god, that looks so pretty. And I was like, it's kind of like the red lip type of thing with me. I am so used to my neutrals. I guess for a pop of color, you know, it looks okay. Oh, before I begin, a friend of mine wanted me to give him a shout out. His name is Marcelo. We are trying to plan a day that we can go to CVS for, he loves my haul videos. He's friends with a friend of mine named Norma, who I love. I met her working in hospice, and we worked together for 3 years, and I'm old enough to be a mother, but I just adore Norma. She's a beautiful girl inside and truly outside. Whether she believes that or not is a different story. Anyway, so, getting back to the foundations. So these come in 12 shades. Shade range isn't the greatest. You can't tell by the bottle either. Maybelline, are you listening? Like, seriously? I've never used Maybelline foundation. The drawback to this, I'm sure everybody has seen, this crazy applicator. Now, I have it on this side of my face. This side is all done. This side, so you could see all the prettiness, has nothing, except for moisturizer. So, I should have known better because I had purchased this first, which is the powder, and it is the Dream Wonder powder, and I got this in Classic Ivory. And it says, glides on softly and smoothly, skin perfecting silky finish, buildable medium coverage. And here's what the powder looks like. So I had bought that a long time ago. Of course, forgot about it. And so Julie at Glad Rigs, if I remember, I'll link her channel below. I think she was the one that suggested I try this. It is, I'm going to show you now, you know how it tells you to apply this? Shake well and dispense to fingertip. Apply to face. So it is very liquidy. Not as liquidy as MAC Face and Body, which I actually love, but it's a little thicker than that. The back of my hand is clean. That's how I apply it. I don't take this to my face, and I kind of use the here instead of the dropper itself. If I waited for this to drop out, I'd be tomorrow morning. So I'm taking some of the Creamy Natural, and I'm going to use some of the Classic Ivory and mix them. Like I think I've said, these tend to run darker than True to Color because I think I have Creamy Natural in the L'Oreal, and that's fine on my skin. I mean, the Creamy Natural wasn't bad, but I wanted to get a better, color match. So, what you can do, now what I've noticed with this is, I love the texture of this. You can apply it with your fingertips. I actually like the Beauty Blender. Now, somebody's going to say, well, doesn't the Beauty Blender absorb a lot of it? It does, but not. I use MAC Face and Body, I use a Beauty Blender. My skin does not like brushes. I don't know why, it just doesn't. This is, I would say, a light to medium coverage. It is buildable, but if you're looking for full coverage, no. Definitely would not say this is a full coverage foundation. I do love the texture of it. It is very, very, very silky. And if you know me, you know that I don't really like a thick, heavy foundation. It's just, that's just not my deal. I like my skin to show through. And I mean, I don't have great skin. It's not like my skin is flawless, because it's not. But I still like to be able to see. I have a couple freckles here. I'd rather see that than to mask my skin under foundation where I look like I have tons of makeup on. It really just really blends really nicely into my skin. I wore it on Thursday. That's when I did the the purple shadow on Thursday as well, when I went to my girlfriend's house. And I wore it for about 7 hours, and it looked the same as it did when I left. I didn't feel like it broke down on me. Now, I will say this, I have normal to dry. If you have oily skin, I don't know how well this would fare on you. I would say stick with, when we have certain skin, I would say stick with what you love. I have just started to venture into the drugstore with foundations. And the other thing that I love, it melds into my skin, and you're all going to say, well, what do you mean by meld? What I mean is, I think you all know when I ordered the Mally, and for whatever reason, her foundation, no matter what I used the Beauty Blender, I used a brush, fingertips. I tried every different way. It just sat on top of my skin, accentuated the pores, looked cakey. My skin don't like Mally foundation. That doesn't mean it can't be somebody else's holy grail, or somebody else that loves the foundation. My skin is weird like that. The thing that I like, it's dry already. Now, just a tip, when you're putting on, you're originally starting to put your makeup on, I put which I'll eventually be doing a review on, I put on hyaluronic acid, and that, my skin just sucks that right in. And then on top of that, I use my Skin MD Shielding Lotion. I allow that to dry. I don't go right in with product, because what happens is you have your skin feels tacky, and you keep applying product, it's going to wind up looking cakey when you're done. If you have the time. Now, a lot of times we do videos, we don't have the time to wait, but I can tell you right now, just in talking, that is dry, which is another love. So now I'm going to go in with the Dream Wonder powder and use my damp Beauty Blender. And as you can see, powder on it. And I like to apply powder with a damp sponge. There's like no water in it at this point, so it's slightly damp. I just feel like for my skin, being that I'm older, it does not settle into fine lines. It's a very light coverage, and it doesn't get cakey. that day when I wore that Mally, I was like mortified at how horrific it looked. And then I used my Dream Wonder, which I love, but look at this. Like, I've been using this for a couple weeks, and not a lot. And this goes very quickly. Maybelline, seriously, fill the whole thing up. Underneath my eye, the powder that I use under my eye is the Ben Nye Cameo powder. It's a pink. I don't know. I have it in a Makeup Forever and Old. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. And then what I do is I take the Real Technique. I get a little bit of powder. I tap it off because I don't like powder. And then I push the powder and then I actually go over it with the Beauty Blender that's almost dry, because I don't like the cakey on my face. I'm going to be 46 in a couple of months, so what will happen is the powder will tend to go into the creases. That's why I try to use the least bit possible, just enough to set the product and forget about it. So on my skin, for time-wise, I wore it Thursday for 7 hours. It lasted fine. Anytime I've put it on, it's lasted on me. Now, if you have different skin, especially, I would say, oily, combination of oily, it may not last that long on you. I know Sam Sherman, for anybody that has anybody that has combination to oily, if she reviews a foundation, you should watch, because she has reviewed this. She has reviewed the L'Oreal one. I have normal to dry. Right now, I would say my skin is normal. Now, the day I had this on, Thursday, here in Jersey, it was kind of warm. And I had no issues whatsoever, with it melting off. And that was like getting into a hot car. And I live in the next city over from my friend, so, it takes a little while for the car to cool, and I was sweating, and it still held up, which I was happy about. I would repurchase this because I do like a light to medium coverage foundation. If you're looking for full coverage, this is not the one for you. I really, really like this. I mean, I don't like the dropper. I think that's kind of... but other than that, and I love it with my Beauty Blender. Like I said, for whatever reason, my skin does not like to... I have all these brushes, pretty brushes from like IT Cosmetics, that I cannot use for foundation. Except if I'm going to wear minerals, then I can. But for liquids, it just doesn't work on my skin. So, I hope that, you enjoyed this review. I really personally like it. I mean, the glass too, but the foundation inside, I like it. My skin seems to like it. I haven't broken out from it. I will keep you posted on that. But I've been using this since I bought it. Even the wrong color. And I was able to blend it out that it didn't look like the wrong color. Do you know what I mean? So, will I buy more foundation? I'm sure I will. Like everybody else. We want to try and hope for the next best thing. But it has, I feel like, a good enough coverage that you can still see my skin through. Like, I have a couple freckles there. You can still see my skin, and that is what I like. I'm not into a mask. I'm not into any of that. So, I hope you found this review helpful. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye-bye.